Hi, I'm Hannah and I'm a principal test engineer at FOOTASYLUM. So I work with the platform team at FOOTASYLUM and our core mission is to enable other teams throughout the business to serve our customers better by consuming APIs, standardized APIs. This job is actually my first where accessibility and the front-end user experience isn't my core focus. But that's not to say that I'm not available to help other testers and other teams with any accessibility problems. At previous companies where I've worked, such as a variety of game studios, the BBC, and Booking.com here in Manchester, I've been far more hands on with front end testing, accessibility, and bringing other disciplines such as product owners, developers, and even other testers along on the accessibility journey. And this has actually been a core part of those roles and a core part of who I am as a person. So, how did I become interested in accessibility? Well, at the age of around 15, 16-ish, I started having real problems with recurrent ear infections and hearing issues. And these issues really came to a head when I failed the listening part of my mock French GCSE exam. So after being back and forth to the doctors a few times and spending a very interesting day at the ENT department of the local university hospital, I ended up being diagnosed quite simply with an underdeveloped eustachian tube, which means I'm quite susceptible to eustachian tube dysfunction, which basically means that occasionally my ears feel as though they are stuffed full of cotton wool, so sounds are quite muffled. Occasionally, especially when I yawn, it feels as though popping candy is going off inside my ears. It's quite painful sometimes, and tinnitus is definitely a key feature of my life. Also have balance issues thanks to this, but I am also 4'10" with a low center of gravity, so balance issues are always going to be a part of my life. So, as well as a diagnosis, I also came away from that with a doctor's note to allow for special conditions for the real French GCSE exam, which I subsequently passed. But that actually taught me that subtitles are a very key feature of my life. And if subtitles are available, no matter if it's a YouTube video, a film, a TV show, video game, as long as subtitles are available, they are getting switched on. And this is really where accessibility and advocating for accessibility really kicked off for me. I did a computer games development degree at university, where I got really interested in usability. And although I didn't know the terms usability and accessibility back then, I'd actually started doing talks at various industry events about the lack of subtitles in games at the time. Thankfully, things have improved in that area quite a bit. And also, thankfully, these days my hearing issues aren't really a blocker to real life, especially with the rise of video calls these days. I was initially concerned that not being able to see the person that I'm talking to and interacting with face to face would be quite difficult because I rely on body language and sometimes lip reading. But I've actually been able to work around these issues quite simply by being very picky with what headphones I use, which is quite a blessing in disguise these days. So, what have I been working on recently? To be honest, nothing tangible, not since changing jobs about 3 months ago. In my previous role, I helped a test lead set up an accessibility champions network of testers from across the company from a wide range of product areas. And we did emulate this on the BBC Champions Accessibility Champions Network that I was a part of when I was at the BBC. So as part of this in my last role, I obviously imparted a lot of my knowledge of accessibility and accessibility testing. I helped run accessibility testing workshops and I empowered people from across the company to focus on accessibility as part of BAU. When I did decide to leave that company, I had a real sense of accomplishment that product teams actually felt empowered to challenge their products with accessibility improvements. Also, more recently, I have chosen to die on the hill that accessibility is not a non-functional requirement. I've noticed over my career that so many test professionals and other software engineers lump accessibility in with security and performance as NFRs, non-functional requirements. So that's really the biggest thing that I'm working on right now is attempting to change people's minds on this and to help them understand that if you just lump all this right in at the end of development, you're not going to get anywhere. So by being able to shift left and think about things soon, early on in development, and as soon as you don't let them become an issue. So yeah, helping teams, helping developers realize that accessibility is not an afterthought is a key thing that I'm doing right now. And I'm always willing to talk about that. So thank you for listening to my talk, and I hope you've got something out of it. Thank you.